a song I know you might want to sing note for note. Don't worry. Do what? Be happy. Yeah, that's good. Every life we have some trouble, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. You gotta do what? Be happy. So don't worry, be happy. Sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, sing that with me. One more time. We sing. Oh, 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 oh.
Well, let's be still now. We're going to have some more fun. Because actually my lessons today is based on comedy. So it's just no surprise that we're talking about happy, and don't worry, because I'm going to try to be funny. See, that in itself is funny, evidently. But before we go there, let's take a deep breath and let's bring ourselves all the way into this moment if we haven't gotten there already. And let's feel what it feels like to be present. Just to be present right here, right now. For when we are present in ourselves, we have the direct line, as Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, used to say, we have the direct line to headquarters. The direct line to the divine that resides in us and as us. And from there we can be still. We can be at peace. We can feel ease. We can feel the love that we are already, just in this exquisite moment. And once we are able to be there, we can look upon the world with a different set of eyes. We can see the divine in everything. We can see the divine everywhere we go. And that makes the world a different place. So to see with the eyes of God. For this time, these few moments with that understanding, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
This is the funniest song I know, so I hope you like it. Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. He didn't leave much to mind me, just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought that it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from lots of folks, and it seemed I had to fight my whole life through. Some girl would giggle and I'd get red. Some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue.
Yeah. Johnny Cash. So that's what I was thinking of when you said I was thinking of my dad. Yeah. All right. Ooh, somebody folded a card. Oh. Ah, no name. So this has no name on it, so I'm going to read it though. We filled out these cards in August. Remember these cold cards, because I want to know what you think this place should be. So what do you want it to be in your life and for others? A place of worship, fellowship, and something. Sanctuary. Sanctuary. How do you want it to feel? Warm, welcoming, blessed. How will you bless this space? Tell others, live my truth, and donate to the church. There it is. Fold it up right there. If you haven't filled one out, you're welcome to fill one out. There's some blanks right up there. Yeah. So, yeah, it's so interesting the way these messages come together. You know, last week I thought was pretty heavy. Every time I looked out at people in the audience last week, I saw people drying tears, and tears were running down their face, and I was like, man, this is pretty heavy. So maybe I should lighten things up this week, right? Maybe I should lighten things up. I thought, that'll be good. That'll be good. What can I talk about? But one thing I appreciated about last week is, those of you who are here, Raj was our musician last week. And he really lightened it up with the music piece, right? Ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch is dead. Remember that one? Or if I only had a brain. So I appreciate that, but still there were a lot of teary eyes around. And so I thought, well, like I said, I got to lighten this up a bit. Because, it's spiritually, it's good to go into the dark. It's good to go into those places. Last week I was talking about the blister burns that we uncover, or that get picked at or get exposed. But you know what? We don't have to live there. We don't have to live in the dark all the time and, we're on the spiritual journey and it's so hard. Yes, both. But we should spend some time a little lighter too, don't you think? Yeah, we should spend a little lighter. So I thought, well, what better way to lighten things up than with comedy? Right? Yeah. Specifically improv. Yeah? And specifically what we can learn from improv, from the rules of improv. Right? Now they're all looking at me going, the rules of improv. Well, here's what improv means. Improv is improvisation, right? And it's composing, executing, and arranging without preparation. Composing, executing, and arranging without preparation. And that's what comedians and people in improv do. Can you imagine being brave enough to come up here on stage with a group of people to be able to interact about a topic that you know nothing about until it happens? And then somebody just throws out a word like jelly bean, and then you have to go from there. Like, those people are pretty brave, right? Not knowing what's going to happen. And then I thought, well, isn't that what life is like too? That's what happens in life. Somebody yells jelly bean and all of a sudden, things are different than they were just a moment ago. So I thought, maybe they have something here. Maybe the rules of improv really do apply to our lives. So I started ruminating about that. And, there's no reason to be afraid of these things happening, and that's what people in improv do. Like, they don't fear that. They practice that, but they don't fear that. And last week I shared a quote from Mark Nepo's book about pain and that sort of thing being the geography of life. And I think this is the same. This is the geography of life. We get ourselves in situations that we're not quite sure about. Remember this poster from a few weeks ago? What we expect to happen and what actually happens. And we get wound up in these things between, and this is really what I'm calling now the twilight zone. The twilight zone. It's that space in between two certainties where it's really uncertain. It's really uncertain. That's what the twilight zone is. It's that undefined area between two conditions that we aren't comfortable with because there is uncertainty there. There's loop-de-loops. There's everything we didn't expect that's happening in there, right? And that's what happens in the twilight zone. I like that, don't you? Some of you are old enough, most of you, seeing the twilight zone. We really can't map it out and expect it to be that way. It's going to be this way. So that's the kind of the way it is at improv. That's the kind of the way it is. So I read this article on NPR Life Kit, and I'm not going to even pretend to pronounce these names. So I'll give it to you the best I can. I'm going to have to read them. Oluwakami Alade-Suyi and Audrey Guyon. All right, that was my most fearful part of this whole message, is saying those names. And they talk about how we can use the rules of improv to become more confident. Isn't that really what we want in uncertainty? Don't we want a little bit of confidence? Like a little bit of like, I can get through this kind of thing? Instead of feeling so overwhelmed. And that's what improv's about. And like I said, by extension, I think that's what life is about as well. We have an improv person in the house, right there, Brooklyn Green. Yeah. She's going to say, I should be up there teaching that.
But to improvise it.
Yeah. I'll just go for it, okay?
Great job.
Or Annette Cook, where's Annette Cook? She's an improv person. Anybody else do improv in here? The bravest people on the planet do improv, right? Anybody who gets up in front of a group and performs, I'm telling you, it's. So what does improv have to teach us? Well, I made another little graphic for you, just so you can follow along. Notice that all of these things I talk about end up under the umbrella of kindness, because that's what we do here. That's what we do here. This is not about judgment of ourselves or anybody else. This is about how to engage with kindness. So the first rule, one of the first rules of improv is this response of yes and. And what this does is it keeps the flow going, right? You're an improv person too, aren't you?
No.
No, you're going, yeah.
The non-duality is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, and.
Yes, and. When you say no, if somebody says jelly bean, and somebody says, well, there are 38 varieties of jelly bean, and the other person says, no, they're not. Like, it kind of shuts the flow down, doesn't it? It kind of shuts it down. So what the improv says is, yes, and guess what? And then goes and into something else, so it's yes and instead of no, instead of a hard no. So think about how many times in your life yes and might work instead of no. Not every time. Not every time. If somebody said, Paula, do you want to go on this roller coaster? I'm like, no. I don't want to go on a roller coaster. I'm afraid of that stuff. I'm a baby and I'm not going to do it. So not, yes, and I'll puke. No, I'm not going to. But a lot of times, yes, and is the right answer, and it puts us more at ease. It puts us more at ease, right? It puts us in that place of ease. Instead of being in that uncertainty and being tense, it puts us at ease. So I wrote down an example for you. And it's this, I can't believe I'm going to get it out. Yes, it could be a Chinese spy balloon. And I'm wondering, maybe it's just mapping all of the dollar stores to make drops so that we never run out of Halloween costumes again. Like, it could possibly be that, right? It's the yes and. It could be a spy balloon. Yes. The other thing that yes does is says, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I don't discount it and make it wrong and me right. I hear you and this. I think it's great. Yes and. Yes and. The second rule that they talked about in this article was to embrace your mistakes. To embrace your mistakes. So many of us run away from our mistakes. We're ashamed. It doesn't feel good. We're either ashamed or embarrassed about our mistakes. But really the idea is, that's what I did. That's the mistake I made. Instead of holding on to it and making me tense, I can just say, yeah, that's what happened. It wasn't my finest hour. Or yes, that's, to embrace that. In improv, people use their abilities and disabilities, they use their accents and their body to do all sorts of things. They just embrace their, what other people might call mistakes. So I have another example for you from the news this week, and it goes like this. Yes, that was me in the picture dressed in drag. I felt embarrassed, so I reacted with a lie. I wanted to be small. But you know what? It's a part of my past. And actually, I had a blast that day. Right? It's what happened. I thought of myself in that as well. Like, have you ever fallen down and then hurried up and got up before anybody noticed? It'd be before you thought anybody noticed. Right? Like, that. It's like you fell down. So one of the last times I fell down was I was down at the Hannah Block Center, and I came out the front door, and there's a step really close by the door as you go out, and I stepped off that and I sprained my ankle, and I went down. And instead of jumping back up, maybe due to my age or the pain in my ankle, I sat there for a while. I just sat there for a while. I thought, whew, I need to get my wits about me. I looked around and just kind of scanning to see if there were any cameras anywhere that caught me. It's like, why should I be embarrassed for falling? I fell. I fell. I hurt myself. I wanted to be better able to walk to my car. Nobody came out the door. I thought about yelling help, but I didn't. But I think part of it is accepting help as well. But that's another thing. You know, embrace your mistakes. Embrace the things that you're not particularly proud of, because they are who you are. So embrace mistakes. The third one, bring what you got. Like, look in the mirror. This is what you got. This is it. You don't got what the next guy has or the next gal has. This is what you got. You. You today. The hair, the ears, the eyes, the sagging skin, the size of your feet. You know, you got all that stuff. Bring what you got. Bring your education, bring your skill, bring whatever it is you bring. You're the only one that can bring it. No one else can bring what you got. You're the only one. So in improv, they teach us, bring that. You don't have to pretend you're somebody else. Just bring what you got. Renee and I last week went and saw Wanda Sykes down at the Wilson Center. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. We had a ball. We had a great time. She's just off the wall funny. But opening for Wanda Sykes is a guy by the name of Keith Robinson. Keith Robinson. Anybody know of Keith Robinson? So he's been opening for her for a while. And in 2016, Keith Robinson had a stroke. He had a stroke, and when he came out on stage to do stand-up, he is still doing stand-up. When he came out on stage, his arm was like this. He was walking with the cane, and he had to have somebody help him. His speech wasn't exactly perfect, but he was doing stand-up. And you know what he was making fun of? Himself, and the nurses, and the trouble he used to give them when he was in the hospital, and making fun of his own slurred speech. And the way he looked, he would go, like this. He brought what he got. That's what he had to bring. That's what he had to bring, and he stood on the stage in the Wilson Center in front of all these people, and he brought that. Like, if there's not a better example of bringing what you got, I don't know what it is. So what are we afraid of? Then bring what you got. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is notice your body. You know, we spend a lot of time on our bodies. We spend the time on the hair and the nails and the perfumes and the all of it. Feeding the body, taking care of it, all these things. But do we ever really notice how we feel? How you feel in your body? Like when you're holding tension? Or even when you're laughing? To recognize how you feel, how the molecules in your body feel. Like, we should be taking notice of that. Am I holding tension? Is that preventing me from being in the moment because I'm worried about something? Like, notice your body. That's the idea, notice your body. Because these things that I'm talking about and they talked about in this article are really about having more confidence in the moment. Being okay with yourself. Not da-da, but okay, or maybe da-da, but being all right with who you are and how you are. So notice when you're holding something that tends to make you not you, right? That tends to make you not be who you really want to be. That happens to me sometimes. I was going to say a lot, but I'll just say sometimes. When because of something I'm holding tension-wise or a judgment I'm holding, then I lash out at Renee because she happens to be the one in the room. It has nothing to do with Renee. It had to do with me and what I'm holding. So I want to notice that and then decide something else. And of course the fifth thing is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? Play. Play. When's the last time you played? Maybe many of you play. Maybe some of you haven't played in a long time. But play. Play something. Play at something. Do something that you feel is fun. Not because somebody else thinks it's fun, but because you enjoy that. You enjoy that. Fun. Play. All under the umbrella of kindness. You like my little picture there? Yeah. So I worked on that. It was kind of fun. You know, I kind of had fun. I stressed out a little bit because I wasn't sure what colors I wanted to make it and stuff. But, but I noticed my body. And then I said, just have some fun with this, you know? Who's going to say, you really should have made that purple? You know, if you do, keep it to yourself. Why does any of this matter? Why does any of it matter? You say, what's she talking about this stuff? We're at church on Sunday. Why does any of this matter? Because these places in between, in the twilight zone, can be scary. These places in between can be painful. These places can be hard. And if we come to those places a little more confident in ourselves, then we'll be able to negotiate them better. And really, what I believe is what this allows me to do is to create some space in me for the divine to show up. That's really what it does. It creates a space in me for the divine to show up, the real me to show up, because I got rid of some of the things that were blocking the light. The opposite of this stuff blocks the light. That's what I'm saying. And we are not here to suffer. We are not here to be woe is me. We are not here to suffer. We're here to learn and grow, and sometimes that's painful, right? Sometimes that hurts, but we're not here to suffer. I've said it, other people have said, you know, pain is real, suffering is optional. Well, you know what else is real? Light is real. The light that you are is real. That's what I believe. The light that you are is real. And light soothes, and light heals, and light makes it so you can see where you're going, and you don't drop off a step at the Hannah Block Center. You know? And light encourages. That's why we have the thing, light at the end of the tunnel. What's that? Encouragement. Right? There is a light. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's encouragement. You are that. You are that light. But here's the thing. I think a lot of times maybe I teach and other people think, well, you need to make friends with grief. You need to make friends with pain. Well, you know what? You need to make friends with light, too. You need to make friends with light. You need to invite the light in for you and have a nice dinner, go out to lunch, see a movie, have some popcorn. You know, you need to invite the light in, too. Not just the darkness. You got to invite the light. And that's what this is talking about, I believe. It's inviting the light in. I've decided it takes a lot more energy to hold that light in. We smother it over with all sorts of not enoughness. Oh, we get the big peanut butter not enoughness everywhere. You know, sticky. You know where that came from. That was improv right there. It just blocks everything out, you know. It just blocks. I think I'm hungry for peanut butter. I haven't had any for a while. I love some peanut butter. But it blocks everything out. It blocks everything out. So this advice is not insignificant or, you know, unwise just because it comes out of comedy. We don't need to have wisdom come out of our gurus and our saints all the time. You know, that's not where wisdom is everywhere. And it just so happened to be in this article. It just so happened to be in this article, and I think we should take note of it. Because I want you to feel confident in yourself. I want to feel confident. Not from my ego, but I want to feel okay in the midst of this. Right? In the midst of these things. I want to feel okay here. I want to feel more than okay. I want to feel confident that I'm going to be good. And that's what I want you to feel too. I have a little yogi tea bag thing stuck to my computer, and it says spread the light, be the lighthouse. Like, that's how you spread the light, not by what you say, but being how you are. Spread the light, be the lighthouse. Be the lighthouse. You are light. Light is real. Pain is real, but light is real too. I want you to know that. So, yes, and embrace your mistakes. Bring what you got. Notice your body. And don't forget to play. Yeah? Hey, that's what I got today. That's what I got today. So let's take a little bit of time in meditation this afternoon, or morning. I guess it's still morning. And take a deep breath in and feel the lightness that already exists in you as you. It's there. It's there already. There is a lightness in us, encouraging us, soothing us, lifting us, showing us the way. It is nothing less than God itself. The divine. It's the light that you are. If we could ever recall the minute of our birth, of that small, tiny baby coming into this world that is you, that's you. Light came that day. Light came that day as you. And that light didn't go anywhere. It grew in you and is in you as you. It never abandoned you. It's always been there. It is the truth of you. Feel that light. Feel the light that you are. Simply breathing in and breathing out for these few moments together. God is here, each moment, with you. You do not see the miracle He created, the miracle that is you. Your life is the miracle. Your life is the biggest gift you've ever received. All else pales in comparison. What you are awaiting is you. It is endless what you can have. Do not limit yourself to external gifts. The internal gifts are much more fulfilling, vast, and infinite. You have all the gifts of life. You have the miracle of life, being When you open your eyes, you will find God everywhere. His arms are embracing you. You are His child, always. You are His miracle. Amen.
Sometimes I live under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let them get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more war and our children will play. One day, one day, one day.
I'm so glad you were here. I'm so happy. So let's pray like we do. Are you ready? May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. Amen.